Crazy Monday, everybody. Jim Amedeus is here. Amedeus, welcome back. Hope you had a great trip to. Let's try this again. Hope you had a great trip to Western Pennsylvania and northern part of West Virginia.
Yeah, it was a good trip. The trip overall was better than the game I went to go watch. Very boring game, and it was like everything that could happen to avoid scoring in that game happened. We had like a turnover on downs. We had an interception early in the game. Then there
Hmm.
was like this crazy play where the Pittsburgh had like a 40, 60 yard pass, something like that. And right on the 1 yard line, the guy just drops the ball and the Florida
Oh,
State defender jumps on it for a touchback. It was just a ridiculous game.
I'll tell you, I did check in around the fourth quarter, which is when I think FSU started to pull away a little bit. And what I did is I didn't really pay attention. I should have paid attention to this. And that was, of course, that FSU, five of their starters didn't play in the game. So that might have had something to do with it. But, it wasn't, seemed like a nice day in Pittsburgh. It was sunny. It was warm or not, but definitely sunny. So you got that going for you. And we got some friends here. Tuning in. Hey, Joe. How you doing, buddy? Joe Mama. Tuning in from Antarctica. Well, we were talking about building chili. That would be a chili there. Absolutely, Joe. So, I gotta say, on that Saturday, we had some crazy, crazy football games. Chief among them, I would say, is the USC game with Washington. Man, that was just crazy.
Yeah, the USC Washington game. That one was, what was the total? Was 76 and a half, and we hit
Right.
the over by halftime in that one. Solid 90-point game there, 90 plus point game. But yeah, it was very good. I was on Washington -3 myself, so
Uh huh.
that was a nice one. Definitely, restoring their offense hasn't looked great over the last week,
Hmm.
so hopefully that has restored some of the poor play. But yeah, they're a very interesting team. It's like it seems to be when their defense doesn't show up, their offense shows up, and then when
Hmm.
their offense doesn't show up, their defense does. But say what you want, they still find ways to win the game.
Absolutely. And, to his credit, Caleb Williams played a hell of a game in that game. I mean, he just balled out and made some miraculous plays. And, so did, uh, you know, Penix, and that whole situation was just crazy going up and down the field. Defense was optional. Speaking of which, they fired the defensive coordinator after the game. I'm not so sure that's going to do anything, going forward, but I guess they're going to be out there looking for somebody at this point. But it was absolutely 100. I mean, it was just crazy. It was, the joke they had in the booth was the first team to 100 probably would win. So, but you think about that. I mean, by the way, not for nothing, my USF Bulls lost in a game that had a final score in regulation of 59-50.
Oh wow. I did not catch your South Florida Bulls over the weekend. So
How would you like to score 50 points and still lose in regulation?
yeah, that's bad. That definitely says something about your defense there.
Or your lack thereof? Joe has a question for you there, Amadeus.
Yeah, I mean, clearly a friend of Sean's here.
Hmm.
Chirping the Manchester United. I don't know what to make of this team, Joe. I got burned on them very early in the season, and I basically have stayed away from most Man United matches just because they're a weird kind of team. You look at their roster, and there's tons of talent there. They should be performing well, and they're just not. Their defense is awful. They're a complete disaster right now. So yeah, very very up and down. That the Manchester United is a true wild card team this year. You really don't know what they're going to do on a week to week basis.
Yep, there you go. So we'll go from there. By the way, um, Oregon just clobbered California. That was 63-19. So they still are up there. We know that Washington's 9-0. Texas remains 8-1. They got a thriller in that game against Kansas State. Alabama is in the scary position of the number 9 spot, close enough to still give us some sort of heartburn. And Penn State just took care of Maryland by a score of 51-15. Here's the one, okay? Ole Miss takes on Alabama this week, and God love Lane Kiffin. This is the kind of game he lives for. Whether he wins or not, we'll see. But it's definitely going to be a fun game this week with them. It's just going to be a little bit crazy there. By the way, not for nothing, something that I'm sure you understand and know. What a game in the final Bedlam. You had
Yeah.
Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, and the last time they're going to have Bedlam for a while, and boy, howdy, that was quite a game. Jimmy Johnson came there for a pregame pep talk, and evidently it helped. But that was a good game too as well.
Yeah, definitely. Oklahoma just seems to be falling off the rails as the season goes on, and they'll probably have a few more losses by the end of the season. They really haven't been looking great.
Well, that's one of those things where you look at it and go, "All right, suck it up, boys. It's time to play some football." So we'll see how that goes. But going into tomorrow night, we'll find out if Ohio State's still number one. I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia ekes them out. I think that the way that Ohio State played against Rutgers, which was sluggish, but anyway, they came out and won. But it wasn't pretty, so no style points there. And Georgia beat a surprisingly good Missouri team. So I think maybe the Dogs might head back onto the top of the pyramid, at least for another week from that standpoint. So we'll see how it goes. By the way, not for nothing, the championship went to Ryan Blaney, which is exactly what Rye Cole Cape told us the other day.
There you go, big NASCAR winner.
Yep, cash. Hope you were cashing in on that check. But 2 years in a row for Penske taking home the bacon, and I'm more than happy that that's the case. All right, yesterday in the NFL, we had an early game, the Dolphins in Kansas City, and should be surprising to no one. Kansas City finds a way to win. Miami finds a way to lose in that game over in Germany.
Yeah, definitely. I was all over this game. This was my AFC game of the month. I had the
Hmm.
Chiefs and the Dolphins. They continue to win games against bad teams and lose games against teams with winning records. So
Yeah.
that might be something to watch this year
Hmm.
because they still haven't beaten a team with a winning record. And really, I believe that stat goes back over a year now. They haven't
Hmm.
beaten a team with a winning record. So this Dolphins team is good, but their defense is definitely a big problem. And hey, if you didn't believe us about the Chiefs all year, how we've
Hmm.
been talking about, this team's not a top five team in the
Hmm.
NFL. Their offense has problems. Their defense is good, but their offense has problems. Right after the game, when they beat the Dolphins, straight out of the horse's mouth, Patrick Mahomes said that
Hmm.
the defense is legit. He all he did was praise the defense, how
Hmm.
great they were, how they're a legit defense, one of the best in the NFL, and that they're still trying to figure out the offense. So there you go, right from the horse's mouth. They know they have offensive problems.
They have concerns. Let's just put it that way. Uh, how about this? Who would have thought that the Jets would be ahead in the division over the Bills?
Yeah, well, the Jets still have to play tonight, so
Right. No, I'm just
we'll
we'll
see
see
if
how that
that
works
one
out.
one lasts. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, hey, everybody was high on the Jets this year. Obviously, they had because of Aaron Rodgers, but they also have a very good defense. So we'll see what happens tonight. They've upset a few teams at home already. They had obviously the big win over the Bills and the Eagles there. So
I have one for you. It's like your opinion on it. 4 years ago, Tom Brady, of course, as we know, left the Patriots, went to the Buccaneers. there was the question was it Belichick or was it you know Tom that helped them to all those playoff wins? Now I tend to believe that the quarterback always gets more praised than the coach, but in this case, Belichick hadn't been to the playoffs since Tom Brady left Foxborough. So I think we both said it might be time for Bill to move on because he can't put together a roster that wins.
Yeah, I was when the big split happened 4 years ago, Jim. I was always on Team Tom Brady. I thought he really made Belichick, and sure enough, the way these Patriots have played since he left, it seems like they've gone downhill more and more each year. And if you don't believe Belichick really isn't that great of a coach, I mean, you can go back to before he was coaching the Patriots. He never really had success when he was coaching the Browns and a few of the other teams. So this is definitely I think you're seeing the downfall of the Patriots dynasty in full swing here.
Okay, here we go. This one I wanted to save for you because I wanted you to savor it. And that was the amazing comeback yesterday by the Minnesota Vikings to beat the Atlanta Falcons. And what a game was played by the guy that the Cardinals decided to get rid of.
Yeah, I don't know. This Josh Dobbs is something else. This is the most sought out backup quarterback in the NFL. I believe I read somewhere that he even gave credit to Mike Tomlin after the win. So
yeah,
hey, Josh Dobbs. Now, obviously that's not going to be a permanent position for him, but he continues to do well. So
well, I'm going to say this: if he continues to play well, there's no reason why he is. If I'm the Vikings, I want to win.
Yeah, to be
and
fair,
if he takes
Josh,
you to win, sorry.
To be fair to Josh, he has a much better team on the Vikings than what he was dealing with on the Cardinals, especially
True.
considering the Cardinals are missing like most of their weapons. James Conner's been out for most of the season.
Sure.
Zach Ertz, like we're talking about, these are key weapons that he hasn't been able to use really, except for those first few games where they were looking feisty.
But in fairness to Josh, right? This guy was coming in there with absolutely no clue of starting. I mean, that wasn't even in the plans. He took at the post game press conference, which was hilarious. I strongly suggest it if you all haven't seen it, pull it up on YouTube. It's great. He says that the first snap he took from the center, okay, was the first snap that he came in the game. He had never worked with a center, the offensive line, or that first. He didn't run the first team offense. He got like, I think he said 6 reps, and that was with the second team, the scout team.
Yeah, so he got traded Tuesday. He really didn't have any time to learn this playbook. I think Jaron Hall even started the first drive of that game.
Right.
And I saw the video.
And he got hurt.
Go figure. And I even saw the video where Josh Dobbs was basically teaching the offensive line his cadence on the sideline before they went down and had that game-winning drive.
He one of the great lines afterwards was he goes, I'm embarrassed. He goes, I don't know most of the players' names on the first team offense. He said, I know their nicknames. He goes, that'll be this week's lesson, is to get to know them. Because he said, he just knew numbers. He saw the number come in, he's like, okay. He said he knew the number when the guy walked away, could read it on his back. So, I mean, it was crazy. Then, and I'm going to say it again, you know what? I'm tired. Todd Bowles, please. I'm begging you, either give up the defense or give up head coaching and go back to the defense, because I had a bloody nightmare of the second year of when Brady was with the Buccaneers. They tied the game against the Rams. They had 47 seconds left. The Rams go down, kick a field goal, and win, okay, in the playoffs. Yesterday, our quarterback, Baker Mayfield, leads a drive to put the Bucks in, you know, in the lead, leaves 40 some seconds on the clock, and I'll be damned. And they had to score a touchdown, okay? Wasn't field goal wouldn't do it. Had to score a touchdown, and they scored a touchdown against the Bucks. And the guy got you know, the kid from Texas, the quarterback from Texas who was out at Alabama, you know, sets a record for rookies with 475 passing yards. I don't get it. How is it possible that you could play that bad for 40 some seconds?
Yeah, that game was a joke. I can't believe that they ended up blowing that lead with 40 seconds to go. It seemed like there was a little fishiness going on though, and on that last drive, I think there was a flag that extended the drive when it was fourth down, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure because I was actually at the airport
Mm-hmm.
when the final minutes of the game were going on, but I was
Right.
watching it on my phone, and yeah, it's some other stuff. Just it was weird how even when they scored the touchdown with seven
Right.
seconds left, they went for the two. Seven
Mm-hmm.
seconds really isn't a whole lot of time. I don't think you're at danger to Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Coming down the field, um, coming down the field and kicking a field goal to tie it at that
Mm-hmm.
point. Like 7 seconds really isn't a lot, and I don't know. It almost makes me wonder just because the Texans were favored by 2.5, and
Mm-hmm.
even though they won the game with that last second drive,
Right.
mysteriously they don't cover the spread because they choose to go for two and don't get it instead of kicking the extra point.
Well, they didn't even don't get it. They didn't even try.
Oh, did they not try that? See, like I said, I was following the.
Yeah, he took a knee.
He took a knee on it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely, still some fishiness going on there. Because why wouldn't you want to kick that extra point? It just seemed a little off the way that
Well,
game ended.
the theory was because they were only 2 points up, right? The theory was if they kick it and had it blocked, it could be taken back for 2 points.
How
If
often does that
if
happen?
he no, that never happens. Okay, then the other theory was okay if we hand it off and fumble it. Okay, evidently somebody watched the University of Miami game a few weeks ago. If we fumble it and they take it back, well, that's 2 points. If we throw it and they steal, interrupt, pick six, it's a pick two. They tied the game. So they literally walked out, set up in a position, and took a knee.
Yeah, that's still very fishy.
I've
Very
never seen
fishy,
it
and
happen, to be honest. I'm going to be honest. That one baffled me. It was like, are you kidding me? You're not even trying for an extra point. You're not even trying for the 2 point conversion. You're literally walking the team out there and saying, okay, offense, take a knee on the 2 yard line because we can't be bothered with the possibility that we're going to screw this up.
yeah, definitely. See, something fishy was going on there. Somebody told D'Amico Ryans they need to not cover that spread in that
Right.
game.
Got a phone call from upstairs. You kick that ball over and you're doomed.
You
So,
can win, but don't cover. Don't you
yeah,
dare think about covering.
stop it. Yes. Okay, Cowboys and Eagles. The Eagles remain 8-1. The Cowboys remain baffled.
Yeah, that was another one. Actually, I couldn't really watch that one at all. I
Mhm.
was I was on the plane during that one, but I do recall getting off the plane. It was a very close game. It was a very good one. Obviously, I saw
Mhm.
the Cowboys had their chances at the end. They
Mhm.
definitely had their chances to win that game. I'm still not sold. I do think this the Eagles team is a top three team in the NFL, but
Mhm.
still not sold on them as the best team. They haven't played a ton of tough competition like that. The
Right.
Cowboys is probably one of the tougher games they've played. You could count the Dolphins in there, but the Dolphins haven't beat a team with a winning record, so
Mhm.
that's not a great win in my opinion. And I think we're going to find out a lot about this Eagles team in their next stretch of games because they're about to go through the gauntlet. I believe they have the Chiefs up next
Mhm.
after their bye week, and then I think they have a string where they play like the 49ers and the Chargers. So
Mhm.
definitely have a tough. So we're going to learn a lot about this Eagles team the next few weeks.
Well, one thing we did learn last night, and that is that when the calendar turns to November, it's time to start betting on the Bengals because the Bengals are back and playing fine.
Yeah, the Bengals are just doing what they usually do. They come out and crap the bed for the first month. Everybody's wondering what's wrong with the Bengals, and then they go on that with a 10 game win streak and end up 12-4 anyway. So right now, it's funny they're actually still at the bottom of the division, but it's
Right.
such a competitive. I believe all the teams are five
All
and
of them
three
are
except for the
over
Ravens, who are
500.
seven
Yeah.
two. Yeah,
All of
so
them. Yeah. They're all over 500.
yeah, that's tough for sure.
It's
So
a I mean, the Ravens are just balling out, but guess what? They're only one game ahead of everybody else in the division. Here's a stat which just was boggled the mind. The Bengals in the month of November over the last 2 years are 14-4.
wow, well there you go. If
I'm sorry, the
Russell
last three
Wilson's
years. My apologies. The last 3 years.
There you go. If Russell Wilson's Mr. October, then Joe Burrow's Mr. November.
Mr. November. But that November sets up the December and the January.
Yeah, funny enough, I believe the Broncos got their 2 wins in the month of October. So
Yep.
there you go. Russell Wilson still working the October magic
Right.
slightly.
Too bad for him he's not a baseball player, but that's just the way it goes, right?
Yeah, too bad for him. He's not going to be the starter next year.
Yep. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So, I don't know. That's just some of the takeaways. What are some when you were over in Pennsylvania visiting with your friends? What were some of the topics they were excited about?
I mean, he kind of just leans on me for his
Hmm.
NFL picks. He doesn't know in depth like I do. He thought the Ravens game was wild though, because I know he's a big Seahawks fan. So
Hmm.
seeing that was a little disturbing to him. But yeah, the Ravens are a very good team. Actually, I told him to take the Commanders live when they were taking the Patriots. So
Hmm.
that was a good one. He made a nice little buck on that when they were losing. But fading the Patriots has been something we've been saying all year. Now they're
Right.
2-7, going to Germany this week. That's gonna be a very interesting game for them against the Colts.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll see how that plays out. They got another game in Germany this week, so we will see what we will see from that one. But you know, the Yankees, by the way, made a hire, and they're the first ones to jump into this postseason after the World Series and hire somebody. And so the Mets hired the Yankees third base coach Carlos Mendoza to be their next manager. He is 43 years old, served as a bench coach and also a third base coach for the New York Yankees for the last 4 seasons. So he's he's coming to the Mets, and I'm not so certain, frankly, that hiring a coach from the Yankees is going to help you out. But all right, if you feel that way, then go for it. The Cubs. This is a weird one. Okay, and I gotta say I'm getting tired of seeing. And this is not a shot at Craig Counsell. He's a good guy. But I really am getting tired of seeing the same managers getting retread. And Craig Counsell is now the head, manager of the Chicago Cubs. I don't get it. He hasn't had a amazing record when it comes to winning. But now he's the Mets manager. I'm sorry, the Cubs manager. So Mendoza to the Mets and Counsell to the Cubs.
Cubs are in that division too. It's not like they haven't seen what the Brewers have done the last few years.
True, and I don't know. I mean, to me, it's a bit of a wacky situation, but nobody asked me, so there you go. It's here's a stat that came. which was kind of funny. Um, as if it were a massive, you know, break. You know, you were at a college football game this past weekend, and that is that college football games now seem to have that college tailgaters and other places around, the college football stadiums serve beer. I mean, that really just sounds like something that you really don't have to work hard to figure out.
Yeah, sorry, you were cutting in and out. I heard the last part about
Sorry,
the beer. Could you just repeat the first part? Having some technical
the
difficulties
first
as
part.
always. It's not the show without technical difficulties.
That's right. It wouldn't be. The place is crashing around us. The point was that a study done by some university said that here in 2023, there's more opportunities on college campuses prior to the game to get beer than there has been in the past. Now, I don't know why one would A, do a study like that, B, why why it would surprise anybody, but in the interest of just keeping everybody informed, that's what I can tell you.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jim. I don't know what the point of that survey is. Like what are you going to do? Expose the fact that everybody already knows college
Ah,
kids are the
right,
biggest drinkers on the planet. Even after Kansas beat Oklahoma, Lance Leopold was talking about how all the students were rushing the field, and he said, "I hope I
right,
don't get breathalyzed because I'm just surrounded by all this alcohol breath around me." It's
right.
like, oh, come on. Yeah, we all know this is a lot more, and yeah, I think that's in part is going hand in hand with the gambling, right? You're
Yeah.
seeing now more sports books popped up in these
Mhm.
stadiums, and yeah, now on the college level, you're seeing more
Mhm.
drinks because you the casual fan like me who goes, you're
Mhm.
not gonna not drink at the game. So yeah, 100%. I don't know who's doing that survey and why, but I can see it
I can
happening.
I can tell you this. They didn't make red solo cups. They didn't make those red solo cups to put soda in. Okay, that's just me saying what You don't play beer pong with iced tea. So
Exactly.
this is. I mean, we're going all the way back to when I was in school. It's not like this doesn't seem to be a thing, and why they chose to come up with it, I have no idea. But somebody thought it was a good idea, and so there they are. Let's do a little projecting here. Let's go down through the NFC and the AFC, and your thoughts on, is there a division fight, or who's going to come out of these things perhaps in the playoffs? Let's go with the NFC East. Obviously, right now the Eagles have got a 2-game lead over Dallas. I don't see the Eagles losing that 2-game lead over Dallas, although they could. Dallas, I think, will end up obviously in the playoffs, but Eagles and Cowboys there. Commanders are at 4-5. The Giants are still representing at 2-7. Um, so that's the NFC East. The West, 49ers, Seahawks are in a flat tie for right now. And 3 games back are the Rams, and then the Cardinals at 1-8. The Lions at 6-2. The Vikings at 5-4. Packers 3-5. Bears 2-7. And then things get real sloppy as we get to the NFC South. Saints Falcons. Saints are a game up on the Falcons, and 2 games up. I'm sorry, 1 game up on the Buccaneers. Game and a half actually. And then the Panthers are 1-7, way back off the list. So in the NFC, Who do you see as the playoff teams right now?
Yeah, well, we'll start with the NFC East. I
Hmm.
do think the Eagles will probably win that division, but like I said, we're going to find out a lot about them when they go through this
Hmm.
gauntlet of a schedule the next few weeks. If
Yeah.
any team's going to do it, it's obviously going to be the Cowboys. But yeah, I think the Eagles probably have that one locked up. I
Hmm.
definitely think the Lions have that their division locked up with Kirk
Hmm.
Cousins now out. The Vikings pose no threat. I know Josh Dobbs played great on the weekend, but
Hmm.
like he's not going to take this team to the playoffs. And
Hmm.
the Vikings, yeah, the rest of the teams in that division, the Packers, the Bears, they're all trash. So I think
Hmm.
the Lions are pretty much locked up there here. The 49ers with the NFC West, the 49ers and the Seahawks, I still think the 49ers are going to get right.
Hmm.
I think they obviously made that pickup to help out their defense, but I think they're a much better team than the Seahawks. Obviously, the Seahawks have been playing well, but when push comes to shove, I think the 49ers are leagues above them. And it'll show, I think, in the final standings. And then this last division, NFC South, I think short of the Panthers, it's pretty much anyone's game. Obviously, I
Hmm.
liked the Buccaneers to win that division. They're starting to fall apart now, but now you have the Saints hitting a groove, and the Falcons.
Hmm.
You know, maybe they've found something with Taylor Heineke here. Obviously, they lost over the weekend, but they still put up a lot more
He played a
offense.
good game.
Like
It wasn't his fault that they lost that game.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They scored 28 points. They've put up way more offense than they've been doing with Desmond Ritter this season. And I think the NFC South, even the Bucks are still live, just because
Hmm.
5-4, 4-5, 3-5. Those are all close
Right.
together. It's just the 1-7 Panthers are pretty much out of the race. But
Right.
I think the Panthers are they probably are the worst team in the NFL, short of my Cardinals. Um, we'll see when Kyler Murray comes back, but I think
Well,
that's just a big joke.
to your point on the 49ers, I spoke to some friends of mine with the 49ers organization, and he was talking about Chase Young and Nick Bosa having an opportunity to go out to dinner together. They're bonding really well. They're talking about how they can bookend each other. Debo Samuels will be back this week for as on the field for the 49ers. We know that that's worth 30 quarterback points to in that case for the 49ers. So yeah, I think that Brock Purdy's got to be happy to see him back, and the 49ers D has got to be happy to see that Chase Young and Nick Bosa can bookend each other and cause some serious grief there. So maybe sometimes you get lucky, and the bye week comes at a good time, and I think maybe, just maybe, for the 49ers, the bye week came at the perfect time.
Yeah, no, definitely. They were obviously they hit that 3 game skid, and the Jaguars are also coming out of their bye this week,
Hmm.
so they've been red hot. Obviously, they've won 5 in a row, so this is not an easy one for the 49ers on
Hmm.
the road here for sure. But
No,
they,
true.
I think as they get healthier, Debo Samuel obviously we've seen has been a big part of their offense. So when they get him back, I think the offense will start to score more, and we'll see how Chase Young impacts
Hmm.
that defense as well.
I don't know if you saw it, but Sweat got an extension, a 4-year extension, $98 million when he signed with the Bears.
Oh, there you go. So
So,
he obviously wanted the contract. The Commanders probably knew that, couldn't pay him,
hmm,
so they got something for him.
yep, they did. So there you go. So we'll see how Chase Young and I gotta say, Chase Young and Nick Bosa, that would cause me pause if I were as a quarterback in the NFC. There's no question about that. It's they could make my life a whole lot more difficult from that standpoint. And not for nothing, I gotta say this. This is the only fair thing to say, and that is that the Ravens in their last 3 games have played teams with winning records and beaten them by double-digit scores. So
Yeah,
maybe they're flying under the radar. I don't know, but I'm not a Ravens fan, but I am someone who observes professional sports, and when you look at it and they beat teams that are good teams by double-digit points, you got to look at it and say, you know what, maybe, just maybe, we should be paying attention to them. Now they run the ball, you know, really, really. I think it's like 80% of the time they run. It's like it's not even close to the ratio of pass versus run. They just run the hell out of the ball, but it's something to keep an eye on. Let's put it that way. We will keep an eye on it. We don't think it's anything to concern ourselves about, but keeping an eye out for the Ravens because they just might be a better team than perhaps we think. And they're in that same division we talked about it with the Steelers, you know, Cleveland and Cincinnati, all of whom are above 500, and any one of them at the end of the day could walk away with it.
Yeah, that division really is hell, and we kind of knew the division was going to be like that. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it's anybody's game.
Well, Foxy's in with it, so he loves his emojis, and Fluminense is on fire. Okay.
Yep, they won the Copa Libertadores on Saturday, so he cashed his bet there. Good on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good match there.
There you go, bud. All right. Tell you what, we haven't talked about tonight's game real quick, so let's give people a little preview of what's coming attractions tonight.
Yeah, we got the Chargers and the Jets here, and
Mm-hmm.
the Chargers are coming in as a 3-point favorite. Obviously, the Jets very good defense. They've upset some big teams at home, so it's going to be a very interesting game to watch tonight for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it boils down to what Josh Herbert are we going to get. You know, it seems
Yeah,
like the good Josh Herbert is the guy who comes up with some fun stuff, and then the bad Josh Herbert is the guy who usually, you know, plays during those games when they're favored by just enough to get you interested in taking them before they steal your heart. So, prove. For me, it's a Chargers have to prove it to me game.
yeah, it's funny.
Maybe
It's
it's
funny
just
because they actually have the losing record coming into this
yeah,
game, and the Jets have the winning record. So
yeah.
go figure that. But yeah, we'll see. I'm with you. Let's see. We'll see if this Chargers team is the Super Bowl contenders that a lot of people seem to think they are. I used to be on the Chargers train last year, but I've learned my lesson. So we'll see. Right? They got to prove it.
I was a fan, and I've always liked the Chargers, uh, mainly because of the powder blue jerseys and the gold stripe, the gold thunderbolt. Pretty cool stuff. But no, they just they continually, and we've said this, they they talk about signature wins. They haven't got a signature win yet. Just get a win. Don't worry about signature. Just get one. Go out and win some. And it's gonna be. I'll tell you what. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a cool night in the Meadowlands. It's gonna be very breezy out there. So it's not gonna be fun to play in the Meadowlands tonight. It's not gonna be brutal, but it's not gonna be fun either. So we'll have to see. And you're right about the defense. The Jets' defense has really risen to the occasion. So we'll have to see how that plays out as well. So we'll see from that standpoint. We will see. And there was rumors. We talked about this ourselves. We were the ones that perhaps started rumors with last week. That there's rumors that Jim Harbaugh might either just get fired or quit the University of Michigan before the end of the season. We'll have to see if that's true. I don't, knowing Harbaugh, I don't think that's his kind of mo. He's more like I'm going to go down with the ship. I'm not going to. Nobody's going to run me out of town type thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed. But the only way I think he could leave is if, and it's possible, the NCAA might suspend him. I think that would be a big move on their part. I don't think they have the guts to do it, so I'm not thinking that's going to happen. But that could be a way to see Jimmy leave Ann Arbor sooner than he might want to.
Yeah, well, that's just it's just classic Ohio State for you. If you can't beat them, then find a way to get them out of the conference.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not sure that Ohio State and Michigan are looking forward to seeing Washington and Oregon head into the conference next season. They might not have a problem with UCLA and UCLA, but that USC, I'm sorry, and UCLA, but that duo of Washington and Oregon coming to challenge Ohio State and Michigan, that's going to be something that they're going to have to contend with.
Yeah, it would have been great, Jim. I really wish that was actually this year because if Ohio State had to play Michigan, Washington, and Oregon, they would have 3 losses this year for sure.
Well, they may have to it would be an East. Well, then wait a minute, they don't have East West this year, do they?
Yeah, they still have the
Oh,
East West.
they still have the division. So you know what? It's it's the ACC that doesn't have divisions this year.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Oh, by the way, not for nothing. Shout out to Dabo Sweeney and Clemson, who knocked off Notre Dame at the at the Tigers' home stadium at Death Valley this past weekend. So Clemson still has a pulse, and Notre Dame is out of the running for any postseason challenge for a championship. So there you go. And LSU threw a little bit of a scare into Alabama before Alabama kicked it up and ran out of it. But there was that one too. So we will see. Alabama keeps sitting there. That's why I said they're lurking at number 8. That number 8 could be number 4, in a not too distant future if they just win out. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Alabama 8-1 always lurks in the distance when you're looking at teams like Washington and Oregon that we think should be there. So we'll have to see. I don't think honestly that Alabama could beat either one of those teams, but that's just
I don't think
me.
so either.
So there you go. All right, buddy. What's going on? Can we find your information, and what do we look forward to tonight?
Yeah, so check out my premium plays at bigout.com, pickadvisor.com, and theinsidersroom.com. You can get my play on the NFL game tonight. I do have a Premier League play that starts in 15 minutes, as well as a Brazilian play for later tonight. And I have some NBA and some college basketball up. So big variety there, whatever sport you're looking to bet on, except for hockey, pretty much. And go check that out. There'll be tons more basketball, football, and soccer up throughout the week.
Quick question. Not that you have to tell me what it is, but I just thought they were playing exhibition college basketball. I didn't know they were playing actual college basketball.
Yes, the season starts today, actually. So,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I know it sneaks right up on you, but
I haven't got my Ken Palm book.
Yeah, it's tough. Something like 130 games, something like that today.
Oh man,
some ridiculous amount. So if you're into the college basketball, then you got tons to watch today and all week.
Absolutely. I know that my USF team played an exhibition the other day and won the exhibition game, but I didn't know that it was time to get ready for college hoops and see how that works out as well. So, and exciting too about the season for the women's basketball. There's gonna be some fun. LSU's back, and so's Iowa. I mean, it's gonna be some fun stuff there too. So, things to look forward to, guys. All right, well, we're gonna be out of here. Come back on Tuesday, and we'll have some fun stuff coming tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. But for now, time to leave. And for Amedeus, I'm Jim. Be sure to check out all of Amedeus' stuff in the show box below. And we'll check you guys out tomorrow, 2 o'clock, okay? Bye.